AWA Championship Wrestling. The AWA presents the greatest stars in professional wrestling, bringing you the best in mat action.
First of all, in the corner to my right, they weigh in at a combined weight of 555 pounds from the wilds of Alaska. They are the Alaskans. Their opponents coming into the ring right now. The big man, 6'4", 375 pounds. He's from Denver. He was a professional football player with the LA Rams. He is Leon White. And his partner from Hawaii, 220 pounds.
He's on rock and roll, baby.
He is Buck Rock and Roll Zumhofe. Now down to ringside to Roger Kent and Greg Gagne.
All right, we're all set to go again now as we wait for Larry Lazowski's signal for the bell. Greg Gagne alongside me. Hi, everybody. This is Roger Kent. And back into the harness here on All-Star Wrestling and ESPN. We're ready to go. And the action should take place right here. Okay. We've got a little conference going on with Leon White and Rock and Roll Zumhofe. Buck Rock and Roll Zumhofe. They told me when Zumhofe was working out back in high school that he would do 200 push-ups with a 200-pound man on his shoulders using two benches in the locker room. And his feet were on the benches and his hands. Otherwise, there was no support. The guy would pull off 200 push-ups. AWA Championship Wrestling coming your way right here. We are so glad to have you here, and I'm glad to be here. Greg, you've got some opinions about this Leon White. You're pretty high on him.
Well, yes, I am, Roger. He's undefeated in the AWA, and you can see tremendous strength. And the man going 6'4", 375 pounds. Played with the Los Angeles Rams on the Super Bowl team a few years back. And like I say, he's going to be a man to be reckoned with here in the AWA.
Well, he's rough and he's tough, but he's up against the Alaskan there, the Alaskan #1, and he just shagged #2, but these Alaskans are to be reckoned with. There used to be an Alaskan years ago. He's no longer alive.
Yes, he is, Raj.
No, not Jay York.
Not Jay York?
No, the other guy that had his ear bitten off in a wrestling match.
You're talking about Yukon Eric.
Yukon Eric, that's it.
Right.
He actually had part of an ear, and a wrestler bit it off.
Well, he lost it at the hands of Killer Kowalski.
That's right.
It was a knee drop off the top rope, and he caught Yukon Eric on the mat, and the next thing you knew, there was the ear.
He tore his ear right off.
Right.
I thought the guy chewed it off. Well, at least that's a better story the way you tell it.
Well, that's the way it happened. Yeah. What a team here. A very big contrast to Leon White and Buck Zumhofe, and it should be a real good team with providing us with a lot of action.
Well, I'll tell you, I have never seen such spirit in my life as generated by Buck Rock and Roll Zumhofe. The guy is just a worker from way back. He is just really in there, into it. Works out every day. Look at this collar and elbow hook up by Leon White now. And throws off Alaskan 2.
Yeah, we can't sell these Alaskans short either. 285 pounds and 270 pounds. So they're experienced wrestlers. They've been around.
We've got some tremendous viewers on ESPN up in Kenai Peninsula, Katmai Peninsula, even all the way up to Kotzebue. That's a long way up there. All right, collar and elbow hook up again.
Where is Kotzebue?
Kotzebue is on the extreme northern border of Alaska. It's on a river that leads to the Arctic Ocean. It's not very far from Russia.
I've been fishing in Alaska with good friends, the Woods brothers up there, and Jerry Budd and his family, and we had some tremendous fishing in the wilds of Alaska. Salmon fishing, Roger.
Well, I'll tell you, I did a motion picture. I narrated a motion picture for a shoe company of international renown, and it was on Alaska.
Look
out.
Trying to pick up that 375 pounds. He's not going anywhere. But no, look at this.
A body slam indeed. Chucked him through the air like a 5-pound bag of flour.
He definitely did. Leon White, as I've said in the past, can bench press 540 pounds. Tremendous underneath the squat rack. Around a 600-pound squat. So tremendous strength throughout that body. Well, they want Zumhofe now. They can't do anything with White. And I'll tell you what, the energy, like you said, that Zumhofe can generate in a crowd and in himself. Watch this young man.
Listen,
Tremendous
here's what I
wrestler.
mean. Here's what I mean. Right, Greg?
He's got tremendous technique also, Roger. He has held the light heavyweight championship. And he's full of energy and great moves. So let's see what happens here.
He's shorter than his opponent, and there's how quick he can be.
And he's quick.
He can tuck up into a fulcrum and toss his opponents over his back with great ease. Actually, with greater ease than a man of equal height.
Well, he knows how to use his leverage, his balance and leverage, and that's what wrestling's all about. It's not so much size and strength, although it does help an awful lot. Oh, look at that. Buck held on to the beard of the Alaskan.
Armbar twist, and the palm of the hand back toward the shoulder, back toward the head. There is no way in God's green acres can you take and have any strength and get out of that hold if the man wants to hold it long enough. Unless you go to the side, but you can't extend your hand with any effectiveness at all. There's just no strength in it that way. All right, there's a tag off
The
Alaskan.
referee made Zumhofe break there, Roger, because he had grabbed the beard of the one Alaskan. Not grabbing a head of hair there, but he grabbed the face hairs. That'd be painful for the Alaskan.
How'd you like to have to shave one of those beards with a 3-day-old razor?
Oh, look at this. There he goes again.
Both hands. And adios beard, baby.
Oh, does that, woo, I can feel that one down here.
Lordy, lordy. Oh, and Buck is all cranked up. He wants to go in. There's a tag, Alaskan 2 in.
This is the man they wanted. They wanted Zumhofe in here, and they haven't done much with him since he's been in there.
Oh, brother.
Buck is an offensive-minded wrestler, and you know, you have counter wrestlers and you have aggressive wrestlers. Buck is an offensive, aggressive wrestler and tries to take advantage of his opponents by out-moving him and taking advantage of a top wrist lock there. The strength of the Alaskan with a little bit of the aid of the hair there, which the referee did not see.
Okay, well, he's got the arm bar and the arm lock, and he's got the elbow, or rather the forearm underneath the triceps muscle on the upper part of the arm. And Larry Lazowski in there telling something. I don't know what he was cautioning.
Well, he was questioning the Alaskan, and when the Alaskan had the referee out of position, he pulled Buck Zumhofe down by the hair. And again, Roger, the referee is instructed by the AWA and the president, Stanley Blackburn, you cannot call what you don't see. And there's Big Leon, and he's anxious to get in there.
I'll tell you this, my son. Leon ready to get in there and take a look at it. He's trying to get into the action, and he's shoved back by Larry Lazowski. And Buck Rock and Roll in trouble in the corner, trying to crawl, trying to get over to Leon White for the tag. And Alaskan 2 keeps him from doing so, but not for long. Look out! Katie Barbadour! Leon White, go to work!
Boy, look at those big forearms. Woo!
Oh, the power slam by Leon White. Gonna tag off. Rock and roll.
Up on the top rope. Leon presses Buck over his head. Body slams him on top of the other. Alaskan.
Oh, that's all.
Woo!
That's all she wrote. Leon White and Rock and Roll Zumhofe, their arms raised in victory.
Well, they had pretty much control of what they wanted to do in that match. I thought the Alaskans would give them a little tougher match, Roger. But what a finishing move there by Leon White and Buck Zumhofe. Leon catching Buck off the top rope there in kind of a slam position, a press slam, where he had power slammed the Alaskan. He was down, dumped Buck on top of him, and that was all she wrote for the Alaskans. There's the 3 count. Here's Alaskan #1 coming in the ring, and he's getting clotheslined right
Leon
out
White.
of there.
Yep.
By Big Leon.
And Leon and Rock and Roll Zumhofe did it. And that's it for now. More action coming up.
Your stomach doesn't growl for it, it roars. The new Quiznos Prime Rib Ranchero. Prime rib piled high with pepper jack cheese and poblano peppers, all toasted. Down, boy. Quiznos love what you eat.
Pizza?
For here to go?
Delivery. Lois!
You never believe me.
Pizza's here! Hey!
They had a little captain in them because they always designated driver.
Drink responsibly. Captain Morgan is proud to be made with Puerto Rican rum.
I'm Mark Goldston, Chairman and CEO of NetZero. All internet providers take you to the same internet, so why pay more to get there? NetZero is only $9.95 a month, and we give you a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call 1-800-NET-ZERO or visit netzero.com.
The New York Giants are Super Bowl champions. Celebrate their amazing victory with Sports Illustrated's exclusive championship package featuring this must-have NFL Films DVD, The New York Giants Super Bowl 42 Champions. Plus, this limited edition hardcover commemorative book captures the incredible Giants with SI's famous writing and photography. Go online to SITVoffer.com or call now to get both free with a paid subscription. 56 issues for only $1.59 an issue. Save 64% off the cover price. Use your credit card and get this officially licensed football honoring the champion Giants. Designed exclusively for SI, it features scores from the entire season and includes a display stand and certificate of authenticity. Don't miss this exclusive offer. Go to SITVoffer.com or call now to get the official DVD, the commemorative book, and the exclusive football.
Go online to SITVoffer.com or call 800-950-5200 right now.
Sunday on Real Classics, Formula One superstar Bobby Deerfield was living life in the fast lane until he watched his best friend crash and burn.
Don't talk to me about driver error.
Now he's the only one looking for answers.
If nothing was wrong, what did it?
Will he find them on the racetrack or in the arms of the mysterious Lillian?
You spent your whole life trying not to die.
Al Pacino stars in Real Classics Bobby Deerfield, Sunday at 8, only on ESPN Classic.
Big victory here on AWA Championship Wrestling for Leon White and Buck Zumhofe over the Alaskans.
You know, it's a privilege and an honor to get in the ring with a man like this, baby. What a man, pro football player, now a great professional wrestler. And with a guy like this on my side, baby, and all you people standing behind us, chanting rock and roll. Oh, baby, the baby bull. He's like a big submarine, brother, and I'm the torpedo. Bring on any comers, any tag team combination, brother. The baby bull, the rock and roller. We'll give him the rock and roll lesson of the life.
You sure did. The fired up rock and roller Buck Zumhofe. Leon White, a sensational match.
Tell you what, since becoming a wrestler for the AWA, I've had nothing but the best competition, nothing but the best fans. And people have asked me all since the inception of my wrestling career to compare football to wrestling. The men are bigger, they're stronger, they're tougher than wrestling. Wrestling's the single hardest thing I've ever done in my life. With the help of you fans out there, me and Buck, we're gonna do it together.
That's right. Hey, the people are gonna know every time that we get together, like I said before, it's a real privilege to get a man like this on your side, baby. Hey, it's a real privilege. Look at the size of this guy.
Working out together, this is a very big man. This is a very exciting wrestler. Together, they're on their way. We'll be right back.
5 decades in 24 hours. The Masters Tribute, Wednesday, April 9th.
It's down to 7 seconds.
In 1983,
Wittenberg!
Jimmy V's NC State Wolfpack never gave up against Houston's Phi Slama Jetta.
Oh, it's a long ways!
And won the national championship.
They won it!
ESPN Classic takes you back with a special presentation of the game. Plus, a new documentary looks back at the Cardiac Pack's incredible season. The 25th anniversary of NC State's 1983 national Professional Championship. This Friday at 6, only on ESPN Classic.
This spring, get 2.9% APR financing on any 2008 midsize H3, plus $1,000 bonus cash toward accessories.
The season premiere of MLS Primetime Thursday features an Eastern Conference Finals rematch between New England and Chicago. Then San Jose battles David Beckham and the LA Galaxy Thursday on ESPN2, ESPN2 HD, and ESPN Deportes.
Bobby Deerfield watched his best friend crash and burn.
If nothing was wrong, what did it?
Al Pacino stars in Bobby Deerfield. Sunday at 8 on ESPN Classic.
Tomorrow on ESPN Classic, at 8, Big, Bald, and Bad. It's the best of Butterbean. At 9, top 5 reasons you can't blame Fred Brown for Georgetown's loss in '82. At 9:30, why you can't blame Bob Knight for his outburst. It's all tomorrow on ESPN Classic.
George Strait, Troubadour, the highly anticipated new album featuring 12 songs, including the smash hit I Saw God Today.
I saw God today.
George Strait, Troubadour. Available now at Target on MCA Nashville.
From the producers of Deadliest Catch comes the next big thing. A new series about guys who parallel park ships the size of skyscrapers and track down bombs before they find their target. Even the smallest mistakes can cost millions, and lives are always on the line.
Don't necessarily know if you're going home each night.
So if you want to work here, you better know your ship. America's Port, premiering tonight at 10 on Nat Geo, Channel 276.
George Strait, Troubadour, the highly anticipated new album featuring 12 songs, including the smash hit I Saw God Today.
I saw God today.
George Strait, Troubadour. Available now at Target on MCA Nashville.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout, one fall, 15-minute time limit at 240 pounds from Kansas City, Mike Richards. At 307 pounds from New Mexico, seconded by Adnan El-KC. He is King Kong Brody. Your referee is Marty Miller. Now down to ringside to Roger Kent and Greg Gagne.
Well, Roger, I know a lot about King Kong Brody because he's the man that put me on the shelf for 8 months, knee surgery. Tore the cartilage in my knee, and now he's back. I don't know how the Sheik did it, how he got the suspension lifted off of King Kong Brody. This is the meanest, toughest man I have ever seen in the ring in professional wrestling. He's just a devastating individual.
Well,
man, here comes that big
obvious that he cares nothing about the rules.
Nothing whatsoever.
No.
He's been suspended from the AWA for about 1.5 years now. Again, I repeat, I don't know how the suspension was lifted. The Sheik said he had something for a surprise for all the people of the AWA. This must have been it.
Well, he had to get to Stanley Blackburn, the president of the AWA, in order to even get a discussion by the committee on it.
He must have, but he's been waving a lot of money around throughout the AWA, and I don't know if that did it or what. I know Stanley Blackburn, he's not that kind of a man. We're just going to have to see for sure whether the suspension has been lifted.
Oh, no, I wasn't pointing a finger at Stanley. There isn't a finer man in the world. He's a super guy. He introduced me to cumin and cooking. Thank you, Stanley, if you're watching on ESPN. AWA Championship Wrestling, and your cards and letters keep them coming. We appreciate it. Look at Brody. He puts the boot to Mike Richards. Richards hasn't really laid a hand on him yet.
You can see Brody, 6'4", man. If you look at him and you look at the Barbarian, you know what the Sheik was talking about. He said he sent the Barbarian down with Brody. Brody trained the man for 1.5 years. And now the two of them, the techniques in the ring, the style in the ring, much alike.
Well, I tell you, the referees that have been in the ring. Look at that.
Shot.
The referees that have been in the ring when Brody is wrestling have said they flip a coin to see who doesn't go in there. If you win, you don't have to referee a Brody match. Yep.
Look at the scars on the head. The most brutal man in professional wrestling, King Kong Brody.
and he's the most unpredictable. I don't know if the folks saw it or not. It may have been out of camera range or a camera shot, but he threw a chair into the ring, and I thought if he had a chance to grab a hold of it, he was going to beat up his opponent.
Look at Richards. He's throwing everything he's got at this man, and it doesn't seem to be phasing him. It's almost like Brody is in a trance, Roger.
The Skullcracker. Look out. He's going to go up in the air. No, the pile driver, and we've said this should be barred. Someone is going to have a fatal injury with this. It's in professional wrestling. It should be barred. Now watch, he's going to go up and come out.
Oh, man.
Jammed that man's all the cervical vertebra right down into his chest area in the back.
The suspension of Brody occurred in matches with Jerry Blackwell. I mean, if the AWA is unfamiliar, some of the fans out there...
Count of three. Sorry, Greg.
Roger, if they're unfamiliar with this man and the wars he had with Jerry Blackwell, they were some of the vicious... I can't even explain the type of matches they were, but they were wars. Look at the face on that man. I hate to see him back in the AWA.
Well, there are a lot of wrestlers that aren't too pleased, and of course you are still a professional wrestler, and I can appreciate your concern. Anybody that's in professional wrestling should be concerned about King Kong Brody. Oh, see, he just kicked the referee.
He better be careful. He'll be fined and suspended again by the AWA. He's treading on thin ice.
Oh, Marty Miller, the referee, just caught a big boot full on the side of the rib.
Better get some help up there. My God, look at this.
Oh, he just won't quit. I can ring this bell all night or all day. It won't make any difference.
Kick the referee again. I'm sure we're going to hear about this. And Brody, like I said, is walking on thin ice. And if the Sheik can't control him, he'll be out of the AWA again.
Oh, and Richards gets thrown completely out of the ring onto the floor.
Let's try to get, I don't know.
Let's see how it all happened.
This Brody coming out.
Uh-oh, he's going after a chair. Stay with us. Don't go away. What's he going to do? Look at, oh! Did you see that? He took the chair to Mike Richards. Let him have it clear across the back.
He won't last long in the AWA as Stanley Blackburn hears about this. He could be on his way out again. Definitely, he'll be fined for this one.
Oh, I don't know. He's got another chair in his hand. I don't know who he's going to go after. He's taking it with him and disappearing. And there goes the Sheik behind him. Now, wait a minute. He's going up into the crowd.
Look at this guy. I cannot believe this. I told you, he's the most unpredictable man in professional wrestling. We better go to commercial here, Roger, and see if somebody can get this man under control. The security's around him.
More action coming up.
Inside those headphones is something familiar, a battery. And if you think all batteries are the same, consider this. When even the firefighters have to get out, fire departments all over the world now depend on the T-Pass 3 communicator. And packed inside is the only battery T-Pass trusts, Duracell. So whether it's music to your ears or the signal that could save you, it just has to work. Duracell, trusted everywhere.
And that's what it's like to be a spy.
Whoa.
Hey kids, I'm Sarah's father, not a spy or anything. My wife and I just own the Dairy Queen up the road, and I thought I'd make you all blizzards today.
Yeah!
He's making blizzards!
How do you go on after that?
It's a tough act to follow. The new Tin Roof Brownie Blizzard. Chocolatey covered peanuts and chewy brownie pieces.
Here at the phone company, you've been our customer for a long time. Now Vonage wants to change all that.
Well, over 2 million people have already switched to Vonage.
Oh, really? Don't they miss having phone service?
Actually, with Vonage, you get the #1 rated digital phone service with unlimited local and long-distance calls for just $24.99 a month. What do you charge?
It's It's simple, really. It starts with different basic rates, long distance fees, and of course, different packages have different features, and some
Vonage has over 25 features, and they're included for no extra charge.
For me, Vonage is everything I want in a phone service.
It's dependable. It's perfect.
No nickels and dimes like the phone company.
Sign up now with Vonage and get 1 month free. Enjoy clear digital phone sound quality using your high-speed internet connection.
Okay, but making a change is hard, and for over 100 years, the only thing we've changed is...
Your prices?
Whoa!
Call 1-800-970-5521 or go online to betterwaytophone.com.
Before you catch ESPN's live coverage of the Masters, watch the world's top golfers make history. 5 decades of champions, a 24-hour event. The Masters Tribute, Wednesday, April 9th on ESPN Classic.
It's down to 7 seconds.
In 1983,
Wittenberg!
Jimmy V's NC State Wolfpack never gave up against Houston's Phi Slamma Jetta.
Oh, it's a long ways!
And won the national championship.
They won it!
ESPN Classic takes you back with a special presentation of the game. Plus, a new documentary looks back at the Cardiac Pack's incredible season. The 25th anniversary of NC State's 1983 national championship. This Friday at 6, only on ESPN Classic.
Well, he is back, and he's the same as ever. King Kong Brody, after his suspension from the AWA. All right, now, what kind of behavior was that anyway?
It cost me a lot of money, and it cost me a lot of agony and misery to bring back my man, King Kong Brody. And he's back, and he's ready to destroy anybody in the world. A lot of money it cost me. My man, King Kong Brody. They had him suspended, but it cost me a lot of money to bring him back.
So in other words, this man is nothing more than a hired assassin for you.
He's not hired assassin. He represents 800 million Arab people in the world. And then he's the biggest hero in the Arab world today. King Kong Brody. You understand that?
I understand. What I don't understand is his tactics and whether or not do you have any control over him at all?
I pay him good money.
Well,
I take care of him and I tell him what to do. He does exactly what I tell him to do. We are after the heavyweight championship belt.
Did you tell him to throw that chair in the ring, and did you tell him to keep on beating Mike Richards after it was over?
Do you have anybody in the AWA to come and challenge? Do you have anybody?
Well, I think Sergeant Slaughter, and I know Jerry Blackwell wants a piece of both you guys.
Well, we are ready for anybody. We are ready for anybody. We are ready to bring him on in the ring because my man, King Kong Brody, he is ready and he is back.
Yeah, he's back all right. And just like last time, he's a hired assassin for Adnan LKC. King Kong Brody back in the AWA.
Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah.
Tired of getting last week's burnt mess on this week's dinner?
Hi, Steve Barkey, Mr. Do-It-Yourself here.
Does this charred mess look familiar?
Why spend hundreds on a grill that you can never seem to keep clean? Well, this is Grill Daddy,
The revolutionary new grill cleaning tool.
the fastest, easiest way to keep your grill clean.
And your food tasting backyard barbecue great. With one quick turn of the valve, the Grill Daddy releases a stream of water that steam cleans that cooked on, charred on mess away in seconds. And it sterilizes too. Just preheat, brush, rinse, and sterilize. It's that easy. Grill Daddy leaves your grill spotless and sanitary with no chemicals and no hard work. Use it on stainless steel grills, ceramic grills, iron grills. Grill Daddy keeps them all looking like new. And no more black residue on your grilled food. The stainless steel brush heads are removable, replaceable, and dishwasher safe. And it's the last grill cleaning tool you'll ever need. Nothing cleans like a Grill Daddy. So why spend a fortune on a grill that you can't seem to keep clean when you can get the Grill Daddy?
You can get your Grill Daddy today for only $14.99.
When you call, ask about our Grill Daddy Pro. It's perfect for all your grilling needs, and it makes a great gift.
Order right now, and I'll include my Grill Perfect reusable color-changing beef thermometer free. Just pay shipping and processing. Never have to guess again. In just 3 seconds, the color tells you whether it's rare, medium, or well. It's the perfect barbecue companion and is available for chicken and fish. Call now and find out how to get free replacement brush heads for life. Here's how to order.
To order your Grill Daddy, have your credit card ready and call 1-800-419-7359. That's 1-800-419-7359. Call now and find out how to get free brush heads for life. So call 1-800-419-7359 and order today.
Sunday on Real Classics, Formula One superstar Bobby Deerfield was living life in the fast lane until he watched his best friend crash and burn.
Don't talk to me about driver error.
Now he's the only one looking for answers.
If nothing was wrong, what did it?
Will he find them on the racetrack or in the arms of the mysterious Lillian?
You spent your whole life trying not to die.
Al Pacino stars in Real Classics Bobby Deerfield, Sunday at 8, only on ESPN Classic.
The 25th anniversary of NC State's 1983 National Championship, Friday at 6.
Sergeant Slaughter, stand up for America, for the good old USA. I stand for Sergeant Slaughter, you can count on me today. Sergeant Slaughter, Sergeant Slaughter. Sergeant Slaughter fights for freedom, goes where others fear to go. Sergeant Slaughter is now a part of G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe, American hero, battling the evil foe. Sergeant Slaughter, Sergeant Slaughter, Sergeant Slaughter.
This match is 1 ball, 10-minute time limit. In the corner to my left, he is from Detroit, Michigan. Weighs 253 pounds, Rick Gantner. And in the corner to my right, from Parris Island, South Carolina, weighing in at 303 pounds, he is the America's champion. He is Sergeant Slaughter. Your special referee, former heavyweight contender, the only man ever to fight 8 former champions, Scott LaDue. Now down to ringside to Roger Kent and Greg Gagne.
All right, Larry Nelson, thank you much. 8 world champions, including Muhammad Ali, Fraser, George Foreman, and many more, Greg.
Norton and all the rest. Here we go. Roger, I've just been informed by the promoters here at the AWA that Mr. King Kong Brody was fined $1,500 for his actions out here last time. So he, like I said, is walking on thin ice, and who knows, he may be suspended here shortly if he keeps up those tactics.
Well, we know that Stanley Blackburn does do reviews, spot reviews of the various tapes that are made of these matches, and he will, of course, make a decision. Well, I'll tell you this much. Sergeant Slaughter, Parris Island, South Carolina, DI, and he counted cadence at Haley-up, hop. Only I did it in Chinese. We had an old China hand. It was Englionga Songa Su in the Marine Corps. Well, let's see if he takes and makes chop suey out of his opponent right now, Rick Gantner.
I didn't know you were Chinese, Roger.
No, I'm not Chinese.
Oh,
I just learned to talk it.
I see. Gantner got the Sarge here off guard, got him a good shot in the solar plexus. Looks like he knocked the wind out of the Sarge.
I eat a lot of chow mein, though.
I'll tell you what, the Sarge something else. You saw the kids around him when he came into the arena with those American flags, passing them out. He is an American hero, without a doubt.
That has to be a tremendous lift for Sergeant Slaughter. Hey, he's got a platoon sergeant's insignia on his boots. That's what I was in the Marine Corps.
You can see the tape on his forehead there. He was cut last week in that big battle with the Sheik's men, the Barbarian, the Mongolian Stomper, and Boris Zukov. And I'm sure he hasn't forgot about the Sheik, and now he sees another man, King Kong Brody, coming into the AWA. And that'll be another man I'm sure the Sheik will shoot for him. Sarge.
Sarge. Well, that's easily done. That's I use a pencil too with an eraser.
Oh!
Forearm smash. Woo. And Gatner is he steamed. He is steamed like a lobster. He's also as red as a lobster right now. He's been pounded on a bit.
This Gatner's a big, rough kid. He got a good body on him. You can tell he trains hard. Good legs, good upper body. Pushing Slaughter all 300 pounds around. Whoop.
Well, I'll tell you, Sergeant Slaughter. Oh, look at this forearm smash. It's a series of them. And a knee uppercut. Caught him right in the chops with that knee.
Well, he went to throw that shot at Sergeant Slaughter, and you saw Ledoux block him. The troubleshooting referee of the AWA, Scott Ledoux, isn't going to stand for any of that. Gatner, 2 big body slams by the Sarge, and he says, adios. I don't want any more of that.
All right. Gatner is holding his back. He felt the effects of those body slams by Sergeant Slaughter. One thing that a lot of people don't realize, that Sergeant Slaughter, in addition to working out with the weights and in an exercise room daily, he's a tremendous golfer, and he takes exercises to keep the strength up in his forearms. Scott Ledoux.
I do too, Roger, but the Sarge brought me down to his Camp Slaughter, and put me through the rigors of it, and he does have a tough camp. It's just another side of wrestling, a little different type of training that you do at Sarge's camp. Gatner taking over on the Sarge here.
Well, they used the top rope. Gatner used the top rope on the Sarge to take and choke and put the pressure against the Adam's apple and the esophagus. The Adam's apple, it's all cartilage. It's not bone, and it's easily fractured. It has some give in it. It looks like the hose on a Hoover vacuum cleaner. And he gets it in the guts a couple of times by Gatner, and an Irish whip into the other turnbuckle. Look out!
Whoa! Beautiful move by Gatner. What we call a monkey flip.
A knee drop across the chest, or was it across the throat? That's a discretionary call on the part of the referee. And another one there, and that was a little closer to the throat. The referee was around behind Gatner, and Gatner was smart in uncorking it when the ref couldn't see the action.
Gatner going for the top rope, and here comes the Sarge.
Oh,
he's got him. He's got it.
He's going to take a trip.
Body slam. Gatner coming up slow from that.
Oh, he's going to clothesline him in.
Oh, man, he about took his head off. This should be it.
There it is.
Woo! There's your winner, Sergeant Slaughter.
Yep.
He's hurting from that head from the shot he took last week at the hand of the Sheik's men. I think that had a lot to do with the way he wrestled this match today, Roger.
Well, I'll tell you this. Listen, here's how it happened.
Coming off that top rope with that, or the second rope with that clothesline, and boy, he cut him flush, and that's it for Gatner. He's all out of it and over. We'll be right back after this commercial and a special interview with Sergeant Slaughter. Don't go away.
Pizza? For here to go? Delivery. Lois!
You never believe me.
Pizza's here! Hey!
They had a little captain in them because they always designated driver.
Drink responsibly. Captain Morgan is proud to be made with Puerto Rican rum.
Wouldn't it be nice if everything in life came with the worry-free guarantee? You, get in there. Well, at Rent-A-Center, everything does. With our worry-free guarantee, we'll match any competitor's price on brand new, brand-name merchandise. No credit hassles, delivery, setup, and service included. And you gotta love it or your money back. Rent-A-Center. We make it easy to make it your own.
The New York Giants are Super Bowl champions. Celebrate their amazing victory with Sports Illustrated's exclusive championship package featuring this must-have NFL Films DVD, The New York Giants Super Bowl 42 Champions. Plus, this limited edition hardcover commemorative book captures the incredible Giants with SI's famous writing and photography. Go online to SITVoffer.com or call now to get both free with a paid subscription. 56 issues for only $1.59 an issue. Save 64% off the cover price. Use your credit card and get this officially licensed football honoring the champion Giants. Designed exclusively for SI, it features scores from the entire season and includes a display stand and certificate of authenticity. Don't miss this exclusive offer. Go to SITVoffer.com or call now to get the official DVD, the commemorative book, and the exclusive football.
Go online to SITVoffer.com or call 800-950-5200 right now.
It's down to 7 seconds. In 1983,
Wittenberg!
Jimmy V's NC State Wolfpack never gave up against Houston's Phi-Slam agenda.
Oh, that's a long ways!
And won the national championship.
They won it!
ESPN Classic takes you back with a special presentation of the game. Plus, a new documentary looks back at the Cardiac Pack's incredible season. The 25th anniversary of NC State's 1983 national championship. This Friday at 6, only on ESPN Classic.
Tomorrow on ESPN Classic, at 8, Big, Bald, and Bad, it's the best of Butterbean. At 9, top 5 reasons you can't blame Fred Brown for Georgetown's loss in '82. At 9:30, why you can't blame Bob Knight for his outburst. It's all tomorrow on ESPN Classic.
Once again, a victory for Sergeant Slaughter. And Sarge, congratulations. I can't think of a more appropriate title for you than America's champion. You are indeed America's champion, as well as a bona fide American hero.
Well, that's what it says right across the chest here, USA, and I'm damn proud of it, as everybody else is here. You know, I'd like to say a few things out there. There's some very proud Americans out there. A good friend of mine, Sam Walton, Walmart, one of the number one Americans I know. Bob Sigmund from Kids Classic, a number one American all the way. And every week I'm going to come on here and announce my favorite American of the week. How you like that?
I like that just fine. I like that a lot. Now let's talk about a non-American. The man from Baghdad, Iraq, keeps causing trouble for everybody. And now he's got King Kong Brody back. I'm talking, of course, about Sheik Adnan El-Kaisi.
Got some rough and tough wrestlers. The Sheik goes out and spends a lot of money on the world's best wrestlers. The meanest, the roughest, and the toughest. Brody, without a doubt, is one of the meanest and roughest wrestlers of all time. Everybody remembers the wars that he and Blackwell had, and I wouldn't be surprised if they start again right now, right today. But you have to remember one thing. Not only has the Sheik got his army going, but you got the man from Borger, Texas. Mr. Nasty, the world champion, Stan Hansen, who I happen to have some matches with coming up. Out in Baltimore, Maryland, we got some big matches coming up in the Meadowlands, Chicago, LA, all over the United States of America. I can't wait because I am America's champion. And Stan Hansen right now, I'm telling you, boy, you're nothing but a coward. You're nothing but a coward, and if you want to keep that belt, you better not be wrestling the America's champion, Sergeant Slaughter, because I'm wrestling for the people now. I wrestle for the America's people, and I can't lose when I wrestle you, so you better hang on that belt as long as you can.
Sergeant Slaughter with a blanket challenge. Can you imagine that? Sergeant Slaughter against Stan the Lariat Hansen. It's coming. We'll be right back.
Yo, Joe.
5 decades in 24 hours. The Masters Tribute, Wednesday, April 9th.
Sunday on Real Classics. Formula One superstar Bobby Deerfield was living life in the fast lane until he watched his best friend crash and burn.
Don't talk to me about driver error.
Now he's the only one looking for answers.
If nothing was wrong, what did it?
Will he find them on the racetrack or in the arms of the mysterious Lillian?
You spent your whole life trying not to die.
Al Pacino stars in Real Classics Bobby Deerfield. Sunday at 8, only on ESPN Classic.
Your stomach doesn't growl for it, it roars. The new Quiznos Prime Rib Ranchero. Prime rib piled high with pepper jack cheese and poblano peppers, all toasted. Down, boy. Quiznos, love what you eat.
With all the credit card offers out there, how do you find the right card for you? It's easy at creditcards.com. You control the process online, no hype, selling, or pressure. It's secure, easy, and free. Find the right card for you at creditcards.com today.
The world's top riders are following the dirt to the Navy Moto X World Championships. April 12th and 13th, live on ESPN and ESPN2.
Tomorrow on ESPN Classic, at 8, Big, Bald, and Bad, it's the best of Butterbean. At 9, top 5 reasons you can't blame Fred Brown for Georgetown's loss in '82. At 9:30, why you can't blame Bob Knight for his outburst. It's all tomorrow on ESPN Classic.
The 25th anniversary of NC State's 1983 National Championship, Friday at 6.
This is a photo of our first Lumber Liquidator store. We didn't have a fancy showroom or an expensive location. Our goal was simply to provide great hardwood flooring at the best possible prices anywhere. Today, as the largest direct retailer of hardwood flooring, we're still not fancy and a bit out of the way, but we continue to have the best hardwood flooring at incredible prices.
2 1/4-inch solid oak utility grade flooring, only 99 cents a square foot. Supreme pre-finished horizontal natural bamboo, just $1.99 a square foot.
Visit your local Lumber Liquidators or lumberliquidators.com.
I used to suffer from acne on my chest and back. The pimples were painful, unsightly, and embarrassing. But then I started using Panoxyl Foaming Acne Wash. Panoxyl Foaming Acne Wash is a treatment that works 2 ways. Its rich, creamy lather gently foams away excess oil from skin to cleanse and unclog pores, while the benzoyl peroxide medication works to kill the bacteria that cause acne. Enjoy healthy, clear skin with Panoxyl Foaming Acne Wash.
Panoxyl Foam from Stiefel Labs is available at CVS, Rite Aid, and Walgreens.
Ladies and gentlemen, this match is for the heavyweight championship of the world. 1 fall, a television time limit. First of all, let me introduce the challenger from Robbinsdale, Minnesota, weighing in at 247 pounds, Curt Hennig. The heavyweight champion of the world is from Borger, Texas. He weighs in at 306 pounds. Stan the Lariat Hansen. Your referee is Marty Miller. Down to ringside to Roger Kent and Greg Gagne.
Well, Roger, this is something that Curt Hennig has been looking forward to for a long time, a shot at the World's Heavyweight Championship. And unfortunately, Curt is wrestling against doctor's orders. He's going in there with an injured back, and he shouldn't be in there with a man like Hansen under those conditions. You have to be at 100% when you're going after that title. So hopefully he doesn't get hurt in this match and could upset Hansen here or take that title from him on ESPN. Here we go.
All right. And the bell sounds, and we're up and running on AWA Championship Wrestling on ESPN. An elbow smash, a miss by Hansen. As Greg Gagne just told you, Curt Hennig wrestling with an injured back. A side headlock by Curt. You talk about
beautiful takeover by Curt. He's going to have to take it to Hansen. You've got to be on the aggressive side when you're wrestling Stan Hansen. I know he comes out full bore, but you have to take it to him. You can't be a defensive wrestler against Hansen.
I was down in Georgia one time, about 45 miles southwest of Atlanta. Hansen took out about 1 by 12 boards in the back of the stadium. He was so mad about something, he just walked right through it and just punched them all out. 12 boards.
Well, he's tremendous. I mean, he is a big, nasty man, like they say, and we've seen him here in the past. One thing I'd like the referee to do is get that cowbell, which is hanging over in that left corner, off there and get it out of the ring. Who knows what Hansen will do with that thing.
Well, this guy, he's out to win.
Hennig, hang on to that headlock, man. He's being aggressive, and he's being the offensive and taking it to Hansen here. First time we've seen that. We do have an announcement to make here, Roger. Next week, and listen to this one. Hold on to your hats. Tune in. The main event. 472-pound Jerry Blackwell to face King Kong Brody.
Holy smokes.
Tune in for that one.
Brody. I want nothing to do with that man.
Blackwell. Look at that reversal by Hennig. A beautiful drop kick he can follow up, back to that headlock and a takeover.
One thing about Brody, that guy is not tightly wrapped. He's really loose. Side headlock, Curt Hennig. I'll tell you, Curt Hennig has learned from his father for many, many years, Larry the X. And he's been a good student. The guy is just really lithe. He's strong.
He's dedicated to the sport of wrestling. And
good attitude.
Him and Scott Hall hold the World's Tag Team Championship. A very dedicated wrestler is Curt Hennig. Wrestled throughout high school, throughout college, and unfortunately a knee injury prevented him from playing professional football and continuing his, what a knee driven into the side of the head.
You know, that's
Curt Hennig.
That's another thing that amazes me about Curt with that tremendous knee operation. Look at this!
Beautiful forearm by Hennig.
Didn't slow Hansen up at all.
Oh, right on that bad back of Hennig's, and you could see the facial expression, the pain on his face.
Hansen about ready to boot Hennig into the middle of next week. Reverse knife edge across the chest. Throws him. And Curt goes with a backslide cut. And Hansen with a double sledgehammer right on the top of his head.
He couldn't get Hansen off balance there to take him over. That's a lot of weight to have to move around, 300 pounds. There he could have him this time. There he's got him. Could be. Couldn't quite hold him down, Raj.
That far away from the championship held by Stan Hansen. AWA heavyweight champion. Hansen's not about to take and give up any points at all to Curt Hennig.
Listen to these shots back and forth. Now, Hansen's kind of getting the upper hand here. Whoa! You can't go Hansen style with him. This is Hansen style right here. Fight it out with him. Punch it out. You can't do that with a man like Hansen. Even though Hennig's got it going his way right now, Roger, I don't feel this is the way to beat the world's heavyweight champion.
And Hennig goes, look, and another reverse knife edge by Hennig this time. An Irish whip coming into the far ropes. Boomerang off. And did he kick him? He kicked him right in the guts, right in the solar plexus. The rectus abdominis muscles, and I'll tell you, he about split them apart.
See, Roger, again, this is Hansen's style. To go in and hammer it out with him, I just don't feel another wrestler can outpower him. Look at that elbow drop. This could be it for Hennig.
That close. Hennig got the shoulder up just in time.
Right shoulder was up. Stopped the referee's count, drove that knee into the side of Hennig's head again. To me, you have to get Hansen off his feet. You have to stay on the aggressive side and try to keep taking it to him, going for a side suplex here. Man, again going to work on the bad back of Curt Hennig.
Cover and a two. And he just got out of it at the last split second. Curt Hennig trying to get his wits about him, but he's not in fair territory. No protection. Hansen just going to continue to go after him. Pursuit is Hansen's one of his strong points.
This is Curt's forte. He can take the punishment. How much longer? I don't know. Beautiful push off. Hansen. He could have him here.
1, 2. Side headlock up high in the
Man, that brought me right out of the chair. That should be disqualification right there. Maybe the referee felt it was not intentional. Maybe Hansen didn't know where he was. He dropped him over that top rope. And Hennig is hurt very bad. And now Hansen driving that knee into the lower midsection of Curt Hennig. The old stomach claw.
A stomach claw.
I haven't seen that in years. The last time I saw that was the one and only the Crusher from Milwaukee used that. And now Hansen just hammering on that lower stomach of Curt Hennig.
All right, high in the air, and a bombs away atomic drop. And he's working on the end of the spine of Curt Hennig.
Curt's hurt bad here. I don't know if he can come out of this one or not, Roger. Listen to that.
You could hear it.
Kick it in the stomach.
Sounded like a kickoff on a football game. Into the turnbuckles, taking him by the hair. Gonna throw him? No, Hennig.
Hennig is out of it. Hennig's out of it.
Look out.
Hennig is out of it.
He's fighting back gamely. He's got something coming up here. He's reaching down and bringing up whatever stamina he can.
He's fighting back on instinct now, Roger, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I'm sure. He's got to do something. He knows it. He wants that. No, with the bad back.
Grasso Valley backbreaker, he calls it. This is what he won the World's Heavyweight Championship with. Grasso Valley backbreaker.
I don't know if Kirk can stand it.
We know it better as the Boston Crab. Again, working on that back of Curt Hennig. Did he give up? No, he did not.
He did not give. He didn't give. And he gives him the knee drop on the back right above the kidney. Forearm smash in the lumbar area. An Irish whip full across. What's he going to do this time? Oh, look out. Oh!
Curt taking a tremendous beating on the small of that back in the lower stomach. But he's got a lot of fight in him. I'll give him credit for that. A lot of spunk. And oh no!
He's half!
He tried to throw him over the top rope, and Curt groggy there. He's hung in the top rope.
And the referee can't get him back. Here comes Scott Hall. Scott Hall comes in.
Oh, man. Referee calling for the...
The referee stopped it. I'm sure there's going to be a disqualification because Scott Hall came in. And Hall with a right body slam by Scott Hall. Curt Hennig's tag team championship partner. Stan Hansen bails out. Hall goes over to attend to Hennig. Stan Hansen has his lariat.
Look out, Scott.
An elbow smash.
Another one.
The referee got the... What's going to happen now? You just don't have the slightest idea what Hansen's going to do. Is he going to leave the ring area? Is he going to go back in and pound on him some more? Who knows?
He blasted Hall.
He's going back over to work on Hennig. Scott Hall kicking away. The referee came over to try to tell us he's back on his way up, back into the ring.
Hansen with that cowbell. He wanted to blast Scott Hall with it.
Here comes the referee, Marty Miller, over to our table. All right, we got it.
Curt Hennig disqualified for the interference from
Scott Hall.
Scott Hall. I can hardly believe it. Hansen trying to throw Hennig out of the ring. Looks like Curt tried to get himself to clear the ropes there, and all he did was end up hanging himself in the rope. And here's where Hansen really took advantage of Hennig. And it was shortly after this that Scott Hall could take no more and hit the ring and cleaned house.
Well, it's a good thing he came in, even though it was a disqualification. Even though it was a disqualification, it probably saved Curt from further injury.
It definitely did.
Curt Hennig disqualified because Big Scott Hall came into the ring. Whether you like it or not, that's the way it went. Curt Hennig entering this match with an injured back. A very valiant effort, hung up in the ropes, and as far as I'm concerned, it's a good thing you got out here.
I never gave up in this match.
You better get back to the dressing room.
I never gave up. Not once did I give up.
We all know he never gave up. Curt Hennig never gives up. No one's questioning that. And if you had to come out here, I don't know what would have happened.
Everybody here saw it. The people on TV all around the world are going to see it. He never took a step backwards. He never gave up. Hansen, he's running around. Think he's running roughshod all across the AWA. Well, here's two men who'll take them anytime, face to face. You don't have to come up from behind. You don't have to take advantage of him when he's hanging in the ropes, choking. This man's been like a brother to me. We set our goals, we accomplished them. We're the tag team champions, and we think we're legitimate contenders for that world belt. So Hansen, anytime, any place.
I don't think I've ever seen Scott Hall anywhere near this irritated, and who can blame him? Curt Hennig came into this match with a bad back against doctor's orders because he did not want to disappoint the fans. We'll be right back.